Hello everyone. Today we're discussing this lead code hard problem trapping rainwater. So this is another important interview question most recently asked for Samsung R&D India and has been a constant interview problem for many other organizations as well. A common approach for this question is a stack based approach which you can look at. The stack based approach uses O(n) time and O(n) space complexity. The approach that I am going to discuss today is going to be O1 space and On time complexity. Right. So if you like today's video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. So without wasting any time, let's start discussing the question. So you can pause on the video and read the question once out for yourself. I hope that you've read the question. Now let's start discussing what the question is asking. So the question says is that we're going to be given the heights of buildings in an array and we have to find how much water can be trapped between these buildings, right? So these are the heights of buildings, like this is 1, and for this building it's 0, for this building it's 2, for this building again 1, 0, 1, this building is 3, 2, 1, 2, and 1, right? So this is the amount of water that could be trapped. So how much water is trapped here, right? You can see that this is a square of each side as 1, so this is 1 unit here, right? Again here I'll see that this is a square of unit 1. This is a rectangle of 1, 2, 3 cross 1. So 3, right? So total this is 4 and this is 1 again. So total is 1 plus 4 plus 1, which is equal to 6. And that is the answer, 6 units of rainwater. So this is what we have to find, the amount of area of water that could be stored between these buildings, right? So let's start discussing how we are going to do this. So the approach that I'm discussing is called two-pointer approach, right? The most common is of course still the stack one. You can check that out and it is easily available on the internet. But this is the most efficient approach. So what I'll do is that I'll keep a pointer here I and a pointer here j. Now what I will judge is a of I less than a of j less than equal to, or a of I greater than a of j. Whichever is greater, I will not take that. I will take the smaller one. Why? See, let's say my I is here at some point and my j is here at some point. So if I take this value and I try to fill this entire area with water, you can see that there is overflow over here. See, if I fill the water over here, it's going to overflow and this is not going to be stored. So that is why I'm going to take the lesser value, right? Even if it would have been equal, let's consider this building, right? So doesn't matter, I take I or j, this area can be filled with water. So this is what I have to take, whatever building is lesser or equal to, right? Now this decides for us whether I have to take I or j. What after this? So let's say my j is here at any point and my I is here, right? So once I've taken this j, I'll move over here and I'll try and see whether the next building, now I'll be here at this building, is it less than equal to j, a of j, right? Or is it greater than a of j? Or I can assign it a different variable, curmax, right? So I will decide if now this value is again greater, this will again be an overflow condition. While if it is lesser, I have to simply take a of j, right? Curmax minus a of j. Why? You can see what is the water amount filled here. So if this is 2, the height of this is 2 and height of this is 1. This is 1 unit of water, which is 2 minus 1. So curmax minus a of j. And similarly on the higher side also, I'll do the same thing. So this is the approach, basically what we're going to take, and when we are going to hit the overflow condition. We will understand it better when we look at the code. So without wasting any time, let's look at the code once so that you understand better. I'll explain the given test case, which is this, in with the try run of the code as well. So now that we've understood the approach, let's understand the code and try run it on the sample input. So first of all, n is here to define the size of the array. This I is the first pointer which points at the 0th index, and in this I will point over here, right? J will point out at the end of the array, So it points at the n minus 1th index, which is this. So this is where my j is, right, in this diagram over here. And now we'll see while I is less than equal to j, right? So that means when j will cross I, that means I've covered all the buildings. So I'll break the loop, right? Now first I'll check whether a of I is less than a of j. As discussed in the approach part also, that this is to check for overflow thing, right? You'll understand it better when we try then. So in the first case, is a of I less than a of j? Yes, it is, since a of j is 1 and a of I is 0. So this condition is true. Now comes if a of I is greater than equal to left max. Now let's discuss what is left max and what is right max. So what is left max storing? Left max is storing the height of the highest building so far from the left side, and right max stores the height of the highest or tallest building from the right side. So initially, when there are no buildings that I've iterated over so far, so both of them are 0. That is right max over here and left max over here. You see there's no building, so both of them are initialized to 0. So now, is my a of I greater than equal to left max? Yes, it is, since my left max is 0. So let's keep a count here, L and R. L which is equal to 0, R which is equal to 0. So a of I, is it greater than equal to L? Yes, it is. So I'll simply assign my left max to AI, which is still 0, so no change, and I'll increment my I. So let's increment my I from here to here. Now I comes here, and from here in this diagram to here, right? In the next step again, I check whether a of I is less than a of j. So here you see that it is not true, because a of I is equal to a of j but not less. So my else condition will be satisfied. Now a of j is greater than equal to right max. Yes, it is. So my right max will be updated to a of j. You see, you understand why this is happening, because now building of height 1 is definitely taller than a building of height 0. So my right max is updated and my j is decremented, right? So I'll decrement my j, and my j will now come here and in case over here, right? Now in the next iteration, is my a of I less than a of j? Yes, you can see that a of I is 1 and a of j is 2. This is a of j and this is a of I, right? But now is a of I greater than equal to left max? Yes, it is, since a of I is 1 and this is 0. So I'll update my left max to 1, right? And then simply increment my I. So I've incremented my I. Now my I comes over here and I comes over here. Now in the next iteration, is my a of I less than a of j? Yes, it is. So if my if condition is still satisfied, but this time this if condition is not satisfied. Why? Because a of I is 0 and left max is 1. So now what does this mean? That between this building and the building over here, how much water can be stored? The water that can be stored is left max minus a of I. So this I've taken over here, and this is the water that I've stored. So this stores 1 unit of water. So I'll keep it here, 1 unit of water, right? And my I will decrement further. So now my I is shifted from over here, from 0 to the next building, which is at 2. So my I comes here. In the next iteration, is my a of I less than a of j? No, it's not. They're both equal. So I come into this. Now my a of j, is it greater than equal to right max? Yes, it is. So I'll simply just decrement my j. My j is decremented now. J, and from here also, and I'll also update my right max. So now my right max is 2 and my j is over here. Alright. In the next iteration, is a of I less than a of j? No, it's not. My else condition is satisfied, but this time this if condition is not satisfied, since my a of j is less than right max. So similarly as we did here in the previous case, where my this condition was satisfied I equal to 2, this time this will be for j. This time you'll see that a of j is 1 and right max is 2. So 2 minus 1, 1 will be stored here according to this formula, right max minus a of j, and my j will be decremented one step further, right? And my right max, no change, right max is still 2. My j comes here, and here also my j comes over here. In the next step, again this if condition is satisfied, right? Is my A of j greater than equal to right max? Yes, it is. So this means that between this building and this building, no additional water can be stored, right? You can see here, no water can be stored, right? Whatever water could have been stored is already stored in the previous iteration. So this time I just simply update my right max, which is already 2, so I don't need to make that change. I'll simply decrement my j, right? So I decrement my j. J comes here and my j comes here. In the next step, a of I is less than a of j. Yes, but is my a of I greater than equal to left max? Yes, it is. A of I is 2 and left max is 1. So I will not do anything over here and I'll simply decrement my I and update my left max. Right? So my I comes over here. Left max now becomes 2 and my I comes over here now. Right? In the next step again, the same condition is satisfied, and this time this else condition will be satisfied. And I will add left max minus a of I. The left max was 2 and a of I is 1, and I'll add 1 over here. And in the next step, again this condition will be satisfied. See, this was the highest building, so now only this condition will be satisfied. So I'll just keep on focusing over this part. And this condition is satisfied here. Again, else condition is satisfied. Since my a of I forgot to decrement my I, right? So my current I is at 0, and over here pointing at this building. So 2 minus 0, which is 2. And finally I decrement my I. My I comes here. My I is now pointing at 1. Alright. And in this step again, this condition is satisfied and this condition is satisfied. So 2 minus 1 is added again. So 1 is added again. Right. And then my finally becomes I becomes equal to j. I becomes equal to j. And in this step, what condition will be satisfied? Now my a of I is equal to a of j. My else condition is satisfied. Now my is a of j is greater than equal to right max? Yes, it is. So simply my j will decrement, and then finally my loop will break since my j will become less than I. Right? So this condition is no more satisfied, hence my loop will break. So this is the final answer I'm getting. Let's add them up. 1 plus 1 2 plus 1 3 plus 2 5 plus 1 6. So 6 was the sample answer that we had in the initial question, and that is what we are getting from the try run. So I hope that all of your doubts are cleared about this question now, and you've understood the code. Now let's just try and submitting it on LeetCode. Right. So this was a hard question. I hope that you've understood it well, and you can look at the code again and you can see it does get submitted and it produces good results. So yes, that was the entire code for it. If you've liked today's explanation, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And for other interview problems, you can check down the playlist mentioned in the description below. So thank you for joining in. Keep learning, keep coding. Thank you.